Hello, Namaskar and welcome to Express News with me, Deepika, your window to quick and crisp 100 news updates from the country and the world. Let's begin. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today formally launched National Automobile Scrappage Policy and Investors Summit for setting up vehicle scrapping infrastructure through video conferencing at Gandhinagar in Gujarat. Addressing the summit, Prime Minister Modi said that the launch of vehicle scrappage policy is a significant milestone in India's development journey. Prime Minister said that scrapping the vehicles in a scientific manner will not only remove the unfit vehicles in the country but also give a boost to the economy. Prime Minister said the new policy reflects our commitment to achieve fast growth along with reducing pollution and protecting the environment in our cities. Prime Minister said normal families will be greatly benefited by this policy in every way. He said they will get a certificate on scrapping the old vehicle. Whoever has the certificate will not have to pay any money for registration on the purchase of a new vehicle. Along with this, they will also get some exemption in road tax. The Prime Minister said the new scrapping policy is an important link in the circular economy and in the waste to wealth campaign. Prime Minister Modi said the new policy will attract the investment of around 10,000 crore rupees along with thousands of new employment. The Union Minister for Road Transport and Highways, Nitin Gadkari, thanked Prime Minister Narendra Modi for launching the National Automobile Scrappage Policy. He said that automobile sales will increase following the new policy, which will add 30 to 40,000 crore rupees in GST collections of centres and states. He said that our aim is to make India the scrapping hub of Southeast Asia through this policy. Union Minister of Road Transport and Highways Nitin Gadkari said that automobile industry is the highest revenue producing sector, which also contributes to the employment of a large number of people across the country. He added that government is looking forward to provide all needed support to make this industry Atmanirbhar. The government has notified the Plastic Waste Management Amendment Rules 2021 prohibiting identified single-use plastic items by 2022. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh today launched various events virtually from New Delhi to commemorate the 75th anniversary of India's independence being celebrated as AZADI ka AMRIT MAHOTSAV. In his address, Rajnath Singh said, "In this Amrit Mahotsav, a glimpse of unity in diversity is visible, which is the life of Indian culture." Union Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports Anurag Singh Thakur launched Fit India Freedom Run from Delhi's iconic National Stadium. The run will help in making a healthy India. Sports Minister Anurag Singh Thakur appealed to the public to participate in Fit India Freedom Run to commemorate the 75th Independence Day Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. With the concept Run Anywhere, Anytime, the public can participate in physical or virtual run to get freedom from obesity, laziness, stress, anxiety and diseases. BJP Youth Wing President Tejasvi Surya has said that Bharatiya Janata Yuva Morcha is organizing different events from 15th of August 2021 to 15th August 2022 to inspire the youth across the country. In Jammu and Kashmir, one terrorist of Lashkar-e-Taiba was killed during an encounter between security forces and terrorists in Jammu and Kashmir's Kulgam today, while another managed to flee. 2 persons have been arrested for hacking the Election Commission's website and printing fake voter IDs. In Himachal Pradesh, a major landslide occurred near Nalda village in tribal district of LAHAUL and SPITI this morning, blocking the flow of Chenab river in the region. The Indian Meteorological Department has predicted an intense spell of rain over northeast India and sub-Himalayan West Bengal, Sikkim and Bihar. IMD said intense rain is likely to continue till 15th of August. Flood situation is worsening in many areas of Purvanchal, including Varanasi. The city's 141 villages and 11 blocks have been badly affected by the flood waters. 52.95 crore COVID-19 vaccine doses have been administered so far under nationwide vaccination drive. More than 55.01 crore vaccine doses have been provided to states and union territories so far through all sources, and a further 59,16,920 doses are in the pipeline. Recovery rate from COVID-19 in India is currently at 97.46%. It is the highest recovery rate achieved. India's daily positivity rate is 2.04%, that is less than 3% for last 18 days. Country's weekly positivity rate remains below 5%. Currently, it is at 2.13%. India's active caseload currently stands at 3,85,227. Active cases constitute 1.20% of total cases. It is the lowest number of active cases since March 2020. Taking cognizance of a media report which highlights low uptake of COVID-19 jabs among women, the National Commission of Women has written to Chief Secretaries of all states and union territories urging them to take measures to close the gender gap in vaccination. The National Commission for Women said that there is a need to create public health awareness so that more and more women are vaccinated on priority. Testing capacity in the country has been substantially ramped up. 48.94 COVID tests have been conducted so far. IIT Bombay has developed a novel method using infrared technology to detect which patients are more at risk of becoming severely ill from COVID-19. Indian benchmark indices rallied 1%, hitting fresh record levels. At close, the SENSEX was up 593.31 points at 55,437.29. The Nifty was up 164.70 points to end at 16,529.10. About 1,412 shares have advanced and 1,583 shares declined. Gold prices struggled today after the recent sharp fall on MCX. Gold futures were up by 0.15% to 46,449 rupees per 10 gram. Meanwhile, silver futures were 0.3% higher at 62,047 rupees per kilogram. The Indian rupee declined 3 paise to 74.28 against the US dollar, tracking foreign fund outflows amid a rally in the domestic equity market. Meanwhile, India's index of industrial production moved up 13.6% in June because of a solid performance in the manufacturing, mining and power sectors. In June 2020, IIP had contracted 16.6%. The Reserve Bank of India may be hitting the end of its tolerance for high inflation and will most likely hike interest rates in the first half of 2022. The central bank will also start rolling back its accommodative policies, which have led to easy liquidity conditions. The world continues to battle COVID-19. So far, more than 20.62 crore people have been infected by the virus, while over 18.50 crore patients have recovered. More than 43.47 lakh people worldwide have died due to COVID-19. With over 3.72 crore total cases, the United States continues to be worst affected by COVID-19 so far. Deaths due to COVID-19 in the country has surpassed 6.36 lakh. Australian state New South Wales reported 390 new locally acquired COVID-19 cases on Friday, the highest number since the start of the pandemic. It comes despite a nearly 7-week lockdown in state capital Sydney and eclipsed the previous daily high. Daily cases have topped 300 for the past 4 days. Several regional towns in New South Wales are also in lockdown due to people breaching the Sydney lockdown and spreading the virus. Most concerning is town of Walcott, where 80% of the population is indigenous. Meanwhile, Australia's capital city Canberra entered their first day of lockdown in more than a year as the territory recorded 2 new cases. US President Joe Biden said that having children wear masks is not about politics, but about keeping children safe, as Republican and governors in states such as Florida and Texas are clashing with local officials who are resisting their orders banning school mask mandates. US Center for States Disease Control and Prevention's recent decision to recommend that all students and staff wear masks in schools regardless of vaccination status has caused confusion among parents, educators and officials just weeks before many states start the new school year with in-person learning. The US Food and Drug Administration is working with vaccine makers Pfizer and Moderna to allow certain vulnerable people to receive a third booster shot of their COVID-19 vaccines. The booster dose aims to improve immune response. Meanwhile, the CDC's Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices will meet to discuss this issue and offer recommendations. Cases and hospitalizations have surged across the country in the past month, and the outbreak is spreading beyond the epicenter in the US. Argentine health workers protested outside the country's Congress for more resources for hospitals struggling amid the pandemic. Medics gathered in Buenos Aires and other cities to demand better work conditions and better wages. Argentina has vaccinated about 25.84 million people with the first dose, but only 7.98 million with the second one. The country reached 5 million coronavirus cases with more than 1,07,000 deaths. The temperatures soared in the US capital Washington, D.C., Portland, Seattle and parts of Northern California were again under an excessive heat warning. The temperatures reached into the 90s in some places. In Portland, temperatures reached 39 degrees Celsius by late afternoon. Forecasters expect temperatures to dip gradually over the weekend. Authorities are also trying to provide relief to the vulnerable and those living outdoors. Canada is about to experience yet another heat wave this week, where temperatures in the interior could hit 40 degrees Celsius for the third time this summer. Meanwhile, Environment Canada has renewed its heat warnings for much of the south and central coast of British Columbia. Coastal areas could also see a range in temperature, with overnight temperatures dropping to only 17 degrees. At least 65 people killed as wildfires sweep across northern Algeria. On the fourth day of the wildfires, efforts to overcome the blazes are continuing in many regions where civilians and soldiers, often with limited means, join the fight. Meanwhile, Algeria's President Abdelmadjid Tebboune declared 3 days of national mourning starting on Thursday to commemorate the victims of the natural disaster. Algeria is one of several Mediterranean countries currently struggling with wildfires after heat waves took hold of the region through the first half of August. The Pakistani forces clashed on Thursday with hundreds of Afghans stranded on Pakistan's side of a commercially vital border crossing with Afghanistan and its closure by Taliban insurgents. The disturbances broke out after a 56-year-old Afghan traveler died of a heart attack as he waited in the dusty heat. Meanwhile, the Taliban had announced its closure on 6th August in protest at a Pakistani decision to end visa-free travel for Afghans. The internally displaced people in Afghanistan have set up camp in a Kabul park as Taliban fighters continued their advance through the country. On Thursday, Taliban has claimed to capture Kandahar, Afghanistan's second largest city. The United States reduced the staff at the embassy in Kabul and plans to send troops to the airport as the Taliban makes rapid gains in Afghanistan. State Department spokesman Ned Price said that this is not abandonment. Price said additional U.S. troops would be sent to the airport in Kabul to help people with the movement of embassy staff. The military mission in Afghanistan is set to end on 31st of August. In central Russia, one person died and 15 people were injured after a blast in a bus took place in the city of Voronezh on Thursday evening. About 30 people were on the bus when the incident happened. Various possible causes were being investigated. In Spain, a group of 68 migrants, including minors and pregnant women, were rescued by Spanish authorities after being stranded 40 miles away from the Canary Islands. So far this year, more than 7,500 migrants have made the dangerous crossing from Africa to the Canaries archipelago. Authorities house thousands of migrants in camps. In Zambia, several polling stations began to count votes. A high turnout was witnessed as people voted for President Edgar Lungu and main opposition rival Hakainde Hichilema. U.S. Census data release shows an increasingly diverse country with significant increases among people in between 2010 and 2020. The data is being used to redraw district lines for the U.S. House of Representatives after each decennial census based on where people now reside. A herd of wild elephants that had captured the public's imagination was seen foraging for food and resting under trees with week in China's Yunnan province. The herd, consisting of 16 elephants, left their home in Sichuanpana, 300 kilometers further south in March last year and eventually settled in a protected habitat in Pure. Aztec culture came alive in the heart of Mexico City to mark 500 years since the fall of the Aztec capital of Tenochtitlan to the Spanish. The foundation of Tenochtitlan now lie in the heart of the bustling megapolis of Mexico City and its Zocalo Square. In a U-Haul storage facility in the Queens Borough of New York City, volunteers unpack and sort items that will be loaded into about 300 colorful backpacks for homeless people and people in need. A team of volunteers distribute the backpacks over the course of a week all over New York City. Inside each backpack is a business card with the program's contact information so the needy people get help, whether it's housing, a job search, or just someone to talk. Standing in the blackened remains of a burnt-down forest, a beekeeper laments the loss of his trade collecting Greece's famed pine honey. A wildfire that raged for nearly a week swallowed up the pine trees and consuming scores of beehives. About 40% of Greek pine honey is collected in the rolling mountains of Evia's north, now ravaged by wildfires that erupted on the island last week. Greece is one of the European Union's biggest honey producers, as it has Mediterranean climate and a heavily forested landscape that help bees thrive. The blaze swept over the northern half of the island, turbocharged by a record heat wave. A disoriented female blue shark stranded off the coastline of Benidorm's western beach in Spain. It was 8.3 feet long. Veterinarians of the Oceanographic Foundation examined the animal. The shark was reintroduced to open sea waters by Coast Guards and volunteers from Valencia's Oceanographic Foundation after the team carried out a blood test to identify its state of health. Scientists believe they have found best preserved ice age animal ever. Study reveals the age of lion cubs found from Siberian permafrost. The lion cub has been nicknamed Porous by the scientists. Fit India Freedom Run 2.0, launched by Union Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports Anurag Singh Thakur from Delhi's iconic National Stadium on Friday. Fit India Freedom Run aims to celebrate 75 years of India's independence as a part of AZADI ka AMRIT MAHOTSAV. Premier League returns to action starting this Friday, 13th of August. Brentford will be up against Arsenal in first of the match of the fresh season. Daniel Medvedev cruises past Australian James Duckworth in Toronto Masters third round match Thursday night in Canada. Stefanos Tsitsipas marches into Toronto Masters quarterfinals with a 6-3, 6-2 win over Karen Khachanov on Thursday, celebrating his 23rd birthday with a victory. John Isner advances to the quarterfinals of the Toronto Masters, racking up 20 aces while posting a 7-5, 7-6 upset of fourth-seeded Andrei Rublev on Thursday. Chelsea re-signs striker Romelu Lukaku from Inter Milan. The 28-year-old Belgian returns to Stamford Bridge on a 5-year deal. British sprinter CJ Uja has been suspended from competition after testing positive for a banned substance. Uja was part of Team GB men's 4x100-meter relay team. Olympic 100-meter champion Lamont Marcel Jacobs says he will not compete until next year. In response to a question on social media about when he would next race, the 26-year-old responded with 2022. Aston Martin withdraws appeal against Sebastian Vettel's disqualification from second place in Hungarian Grand Prix. The German was thrown out of results after his car was found to have less than the mandatory 1 litre of fuel. The release of Tom Hardy's Venom, Let There Be Carnage has been delayed amid the surge of cases of Delta variant of COVID-19. The film will now premiere on 15th of October. Iconic actor Yona Stubbs has passed away. She is widely known for her role in Sherlock and EastEnders. American actress Beanie Feldstein will star in first ever Broadway revival of Funny Girl. Feldstein will play the role of Fanny Price. Patriotic song Hum Hindustani has released today. Ahead of the 75th Independence Day, Indian film fraternity has come together to lend their voice for the track. The release date for Deepika Padukone and Hrithik Roshan star of Fighter has been announced. The film is set to hit the theatres in the year 2023. The shooting for Kangana Ranaut's starrer THAKUR has now finished. The actress took to Instagram to share information about it. Ajay Devgan's most awaited movie, Push the Pride, is releasing on Disney and Hotstar. The film showcases Ajay in the role of Indian Air Force's squadron leader BJYM. Amazon Studios said on Friday the second season of its multi-million-dollar Lord of the Rings television series will be filmed in the United Kingdom, moving fictional Middle-earth out of New Zealand for the first time. The TV version of The Lord of the Rings is set to launch in September 2022. Amazon is spending about $465 million filming the fourth season of the show. And lastly, the 5 seasons of the show are expected to be produced, making it one of the most expensive TV series ever. The first season will be available in more than 240 nations, with new episodes released weekly. And that's all for now in this bulletin, but news continues here on DD India. Meanwhile, please keep good care of yourselves, get yourselves vaccinated on time, and keep watching DD India. Namaskar.